WEM Seminar Series number 9. Before we start, I would like to make an announcement that this is a tradition that we have been doing since the last 10 events, that there will be an award or a prize for the best presenters after 5 seminars. So after the next coming seminars in the 1st of September, we again will have a vote. We will send to all of you a vote so that you can choose for your best presentations. The winner will be winning a drink coupon to be collected at 𝐂𝐬𝐿𝐿. So please do look out for the link to casting your votes for your favorite presenters. Okay. Okay, and please follow the instruction by Mr. Royal to fill in your name for the attendance for today's seminar. Thank you. Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone again to this WEM Seminar Series number 9 on 18th of August. Let me take the permission to share my screen to announce today's speakers. So coming to our web seminar series today is Mr. Rabin Bastola. So Mr. Rabin is our doctoral student. He will be coming with us today in the topic related to impact of drought on crop yield across physiographic regions of Gandaki River Basin of Nepal. Mr. Rabin's research interests include water and sanitation, climate change adaptation, river conservation, wetlands management, and in addition to being a student with us, he is an assistant professor at Tribhuvan University of Nepal. Our next presenter is Ms. Soknath Lim. So Ms. Soknath Lim is a master student already graduated from our program. Her research interests include groundwater, climate change, and land use change. Coming to our WEM seminars today, Ms. Soknath will give a talk related to the assessment of groundwater storage change and groundwater recharge using GRACE and the DAS datasets. So with that, I will stop share now, and may I invite our first presenter, Mr. Robin, to start share your screen and begin the presentation. Thank you. May I invite Robin, please.
Thank you, Professor. Good morning to all my respected professors, dear colleagues, and distinguished guests participating in this WEM seminar. I would like to get a permission to share my screen now.
Hello, Robin. Before you start, can you change your mouse cursor to pointer to facilitate better the discussion? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity to present my study findings. Today, I am sharing the findings of a special study. I will call it a mini research done as part of my PhD coursework. And the topic for today's discussion is the impact of drought on crop yield across physiographic regions of Gandaki River Basin in Nepal. First, I would like to give a brief overview of my presentation. So firstly, I would like to introduce the topic of the study, and then I will highlight the study area and data and the methodology that I have adopted to perform this study, and then the results and discussion. And finally, I will highlight the conclusions made from this study. And this particular picture is also from the river basin that I'm going to present. This is the Gandaki River Basin with high Himalayas and up to the lowland Tarai in Nepal. When we talk about the drought is considered as one of the adverse impacts of climate change that can potentially trigger water-related stresses. And that has been reflected by the various incidences that are happening in the Himalayas, and in particular, the Himalayas having these different kinds of topographic regions. These physiographic regions is also very much prone to the drought-related impacts, and the prolonged drought impacts very much on the agricultural productivity, and that this has been also, evidenced by the scenario that has happened back in 2012, that one of the districts has been severely affected by the drought, and the maize destroyed by monsoon failure in this particular district. And the Gandaki River Basin as a whole is also vulnerable to the range of natural hazards, including drought, that has been shown by some of the studies. And when we come to the drought analysis, there are various indices that are available to assess the drought indices and drought. But I have taken only one of these indices, so that is the SPEI, Standardized Precipitation Evapotranspiration Index. And this application of drought index analysis are known to be useful for informed and secure livelihood opportunities for agro communities. And this is the recent picture from on 2021, July 24th, that in Nepal there is a drought first, and then the heavy downpour that is happening in the mountainous country like Nepal. So this has greatly affected the various sectors, and particularly also the agricultural sector. So drought indexes are relevant to assess agriculture, hydrology, and socioeconomic impacts of the climatic phenomena. This study particularly now focus on meteorological droughts only. So this is the limitation also, and also aims to assess the possible impacts of drought on crop yield by taking some statistical methods. The study area lies from high Himalayas to the lowland Tarais, flatlands. The Gandaki River Basin lies in China, Nepal, and India, but this study only focuses on the Nepal portion of the Gandaki River Basin. So the elevation range can be seen here. So it is around 100 meter up to the more than 8,000 meter above sea level. So Gandaki River Basin is one of the highest, one of the largest four river basins in Nepal, and that occupies 22.6% of the country's land area. And this river basin has 5 physiographic regions, but this is, for this particular study, I am taking High Himal, High Mountain, Middle Mountain, and Shivalik, and Tarai. This is small portion of this basin has been excluded from this study. And the Tarai portion also, is expanding all the way to the Indian region also. So the major tributaries are Kali Gandaki, Seti Gandaki, Madi, Marsangdi, Daraudi, Buri Gandaki, and the Trishuli. These are the major river basin in the Gandaki river basin. So when you look into the land use and land cover area, because this study is particularly focused on the agricultural dimension of the impacts of drought. So the agricultural land is the predominant type of land with 32.67% of cropland in this particular river basin. So it is interesting to assess some of the impacts, possible impacts of drought on agricultural productivity in the particular river basin. So the data I have taken were from precipitation and temperature data were taken from the global weather, this .temu.edu. These are the satellite-based data, and the data were retrieved for 8 locations with reference to the coordinate points that lies within the particular river basins. And I have taken topographic features extracted from DEM, from this astrowave, and the land use and land cover data were obtained from EC mode 2010. And location of the coordinates, locations and coordinates of the data were for Siwalik 2, Middle Mountain 2, and High Mountain 2 and High Himalaya 2. So these are the coordinate points that are taken to extract the data for the particular physiographic region. So the Siwalik lies in this range, and the High Mountain lies above 4,000 meters above sea level. And the methodology adopted is very simple and straightforward. And the monthly precipitation and temperature data were taken, and then based on that, the on the 1, 3, 6, and 9 month time scale, the SPEI values were generated and the drought periods were classified. So SPEI, this standardized precipitation evapotranspiration index, is one of the methods that uses both precipitation and the effect of temperature, while the previous one, the SPI index, that is commonly used and also recommended by WMO, is the space considers only the precipitation. So this is considered to be more relevant to find out the basic water balance in the particular river system, river basin. And the drought is classified based on the SPI one. So that is developed by Mackey et al. 1993. So the drought categories are divided into 5 categories. So this is the wet, that is, if the SPI index value ranges above 0, then it will be wet. And then likewise, the mild, moderate, and severe and extreme SPI values are taken. So this SPEI value provides a simple measure of water surplus or deficit. And the drought characteristics has been assessed based on the RON theory, where the drought severity is equal to the sum of SPEI values below the threshold level. Threshold level means like this 0 if we consider it. And then the drought duration is the length of time during which SPEI values continuously goes down to the threshold value. And the intensity is equal to the severity divided by the duration of the drought situation. Here and here I have taken the frequency of drought as the number of events and in the monthly basis. When you come to the results and discussion, there is it is shown that there is a gradual reduction in number of wet conditions, and though it is not so significant, there is a gradual reduction in the number of wet conditions with increase in with increase in SPEI time scale from 1 to 12 months. However, the extreme dry periods are only noticed in case of 1, 3, and 6 month time scale. So this is the situation when you look into the dry periods at different time scales. And the identification of dry periods with temporal analysis also shows that the dry months, and there are more dry months than wet months. There are more dry months than wet months, and the less dry months than wet months in middle in high Himalayas and Shivalik, and less dry month and wet months in middle mountain and high mountain. And it is also seen that there is a significant differences in the categories of drought. In the categories of drought, wet is mild, moderate, severe, and extreme, but there is no such differences among these different categories of the physiographic regions. And when you see it in a graphical form, it is clear, distinctly clear that the drought situations are prevalent in the various time periods within the different physiographic region. For Shivalik here and this period and this around 2005 period. And also here, if we look at the similarities of all these, the physiographic regions, we can see that the period around 2004 to 2006-07, the drought is prevalent in all the physiographic regions. So that is the common phenomenon that is seen from these results. And when we look into the overall picture of the Gandaki River Basin again, and it is also seen that the 2004 to 2007 period is the most common one with reference to all the physiographic regions. And when we look into the temporal distribution of drought periods based on SPEI in different format, and it is also clearly seen that the period 2004 to 2007 has seen, a severe level of drought in this particular, the time period, this period. And also there are other periods also, just for example, the late 80s has also seen the similar kind of phenomenon, but it's more sporadic in this case. So the temporal distribution of drought events and the duration, severity, and intensity in different physiographic regions is very clear that the late 80s and the 2004-2006 period is the most affected period due to drought in this river basin and these physiographic regions of the basin. So this is distinctly seen here. And above results are also consistent with those of Dahal et al., which showed increased drought frequency and intensity in all areas of central Nepal, particularly in 2004, 5, 6, 9, the summer of 2009 and 2006, 8, and 9 winters since 1981. So the news coverage from 2006 covered by Enterprise Service also shows that Nepal has been experiencing drought, and drought is considered one of the emergency for food operations in case of Nepal. So this also signifies that the results are consistent with the phenomenon of the drought in Gandaki River Basin. And when we look into the seasonal drought frequencies at different physiographic regions, it is clearly showing that the monsoon period of all the physiographic regions have seen the severe level of drought. So but the severe level of drought is not so distinct and not seen in the winter periods. So higher percentage of severe drought during monsoon compared with winter, and the extreme level of drought was found only, and this extreme level of drought was found only in the high mountain and high Himalayas. And I also try to see whether there is a relation between this drought and the crop production. And it's a very small, analysis, limited with only two or three of these parameters. So the summary of multiple linear regression analysis of maize crop yield for a particular period, 1984 to 2011, with respect to the crop season total precipitation, temperature maximum and temperature minimum across 4 physiographic regions, shows that there is not much of interesting figure in terms of the impacts of these seasonal precipitation and temperature on the crop yield. So the taken as the predictors of crop yield, the results implies that the crop season precipitation, this temperature minimum and maximum account for 95% of the variance in crop yield in Siwalik, 57% of variance in middle mountain, and 52% in high mountain, while this is low in case of high Himalaya. So this similar situation is seen in this Siwalik middle mountain and high mountain, while it's different for the high Himalaya. There might be different reasons for this because of the differences in the the total the precipitation pattern and precipitation months, and also the temperature. In the high elevation, the temperature is very low, and the cropping season that I have taken, this maize growing month from April to August, this is not this does not match directly in case of the high Himalaya. Maybe that might be the reason, but I have not done any test or analysis for this. So drought impacts increased in western and central Nepal, as it is also evidenced by the study done by Hamal et al. 2020. So this is the findings of this study on the drought impacts on crop yield. And to conclude with, I would say that there are differences in drought characteristics regionally within the river basin, and the high mountain and high Himalaya are prone to severe level of droughts. And these droughts identified matches with the historical drought events, and the particular one during the 2006 period, which is the longest and severe drought period identified in this study also. And the cropping season precipitation, minimum temperature and maximum temperature account for, as I already mentioned, 59%, 57%, and 52% of the variance in crop yield in the different physiographic regions of this Gandaki River basin. So drought prevention and management should therefore be differentiated based on varying characteristics of drought and the effects that can happen due to the climatic factors in different physiographic regions. So this is a small mini-scale study, and this study could be a first step to make detailed assessment of drought, considering more indices for robust conclusions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Robin, for giving a very interesting study. It's quite comprehensive. As I recall, it is your special study, isn't it? I mean, I listened to this study a while ago. So with that, I would like to open the floor for questions and comments. Mr. Miyuru, so if you have questions, please unmute yourself and ask Robin. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravin. It was a very comprehensive study. I mean, that was very good slide. So I want to know how you calculated this SPI through that software, or you used R codes for calculation of SPI?
I have used the R course to calculate the SPI index values.
You mean in the R Studio? No?
Yeah.
But there are some software also, right? Like free software to down. I mean, both are convenient, right?
I haven't tried that, but I use the R one.
Yeah, there's a software called rinse, so you can calculate this one.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for this.
Just for a suggestion, if you compare those indices, because this SPI you need a temperature, no, apart from rainfall. There are some
SPI uses both temperature and
rainfall. So what would be interesting, just a suggestion, right? Because I was also reading about this drought calculation. So the best thing is if we can compare several indices, like and then we have to validate with historical observations, no, like
there are various indices there, like a Palmer drought severity,
rainfall anomaly index, and all.
Crop moisture index, and there are several indices. It will be interesting to compare all the findings of all those indices.
Just a suggestion. Thank you very much, and best of luck for your PhD studies. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayuru, for attending and also giving very constructive comments to Mr. Ravin. So we have. Do you have anyone have questions? Please unmute yourself. Yes, please, Sonu. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, Robin. You have a very good presentation as well as your work, and I really appreciate. I have been also working on same area, and I would like to ask some of the questions related to the SPI calculation itself. So can you show me again your study area map, please? Yeah, so here you have taken the gridded data, like that means you have used the satellite data, that is CFC something like that. So you have extracted the precipitation data for particular point, right?
Yeah.
So by giving the all, so how did you calculate the SPI for his Himalayan region as well as high mountain region? Because you have taken the only point data, that is the gridded data. So how can you say that this SPI for covering the whole Himalayan region and high mountain region as well as middle mountain region? How did you make it for the aerial basis?
So I took the gridded data. So this is the point data, and then these all the points were taken as an average, and then I found this, and for the similarly all the regions were taken based on the interpolation for all the regions.
Okay. So I think it's already have like what you did, you have calculated the SPI at each location, and then you taken the average of whole SPI, and you combine it for the Himalayan region as well as the mountain region, like that, right?
No, I calculated first. I interpolated and then found out this, and then found the SPI value.
Okay. So firstly, you extracted the data for each point and then interpolated, then you calculated SPI. I think you are using the gridded data, then you can directly extract the rainfall data for entire region, and you can calculate the SPI. I think that will be more accurate than this interpolation method, I think, because which method you use for interpolation for this area?
Simple one.
IWD or something.
For this interpolation.
Yes.
Simple method to interpolate the for the region. Yeah.
Okay. Noted. No problem. I had also doubt on some same like this problem, so maybe I can suggest. I also read some of the research papers. So what they have done, they have taken the mean of all, because you are using the gridded data, so you can take the mean of all grid of this
Yeah,
entire area?
I took the mean of all, but yeah, for these, you know, the 4 regions. Not I haven't taken for the whole and find the SPI.
Yes, yes. Okay, okay. Thank you very much. I understood. I had also same problem, so I asked these questions to
Yeah,
you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sonu, for your question and comments as well. So before we move on to the next presenter, may I request everyone to turn on your video. And as usual, we will have our photographer over here, Mr. Roel, to guide us to take a group photo. Please, on your mark of Mr. Roel. Thank you. Hello, Mr. Roel.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
Okay, yes.
Sorry. Okay, so good morning to everyone. Please turn on your video and smile. So we have 2 screenshots now. Okay, so Dr. Muhunay, are you there? Hello.
Yeah, I'm there, but I don't know, my camera is not working. Yeah, it's okay. I think you can go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so please smile for the screen 1. Okay, we go to the screen 2. Okay, thank you to everyone. So happy day to you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roel, for being a very reliable photographer as always. Yes, before we move on to the next presenter, which is Mr. Soknet, just a gentle reminder, after you finish your presentation, you can leave your slides on for a while because most of the questions might related to your particular slide. So you don't have to immediately unshare. So just a small comment. Okay, so with that, may I invite Ms. Soknet Lim to start sharing your screen and start your presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm so delighted to share my research finding from my master thesis. It's about application of remote sensing-based data set to detect groundwater storage chain in Cambodia. So now let me share my screen.
Yes, please. You can start sharing your screen.
What's happening? Hello everyone. Now let me start presenting my research regarding the assessment of groundwater storage chain and groundwater recharge using GRACE and GLDAS datasets in Cambodia. And this study is conducted under the supervision of Dr. Mohana. Let's move on to this is the content of the presentation, starting from introduction, methodology, result and discussion, and finally it is the conclusion and recommendation for the future study. Moving on to the introduction part, groundwater is main resource for agriculture, domestic, and also in industry in Cambodia. And this figure presents the farmer is pumping the groundwater to supply their crop, and also more than 50% of the drinking water in dry season in Cambodia is come from groundwater. And currently there is increasing in groundwater exploitation for industrial sector. In some part of the country, declining in groundwater level has been observed, such as in Prey Vang and Svay Rieng provinces and Siem Reap provinces. So to effectively manage groundwater storage, a groundwater resource in Cambodia, it is important to assess the groundwater storage and assess the potential recharge of groundwater, and also the study of influence of some factor on the cost on the changes in groundwater. Will also have decision maker or policy maker for effectively manage the groundwater resource system in Cambodia. So as we know that monitoring and assessing the groundwater storage is important for effective management, but generally there is not sufficient spatial and temporal coverage of groundwater level monitoring. And also regarding the modeling tool, because of insufficient of the observed data, the reliability of the simulated groundwater will also reduce. Fortunately, in 2002, gravity recovery and climate experiment, that is GRACE data, is produced, and it provides the mission of the goal of the goal of this satellite mission is to detect changes in the Earth surface mass flux, and also we have GLDAS, that is a global land data assimilation system that provide the land surface state, optimum land surface state and flux. There are many studies that have been successfully used GRACE combined with GRACE with GLDAS to estimate groundwater storage chain. While the information of groundwater in Cambodia is not is scarce, so the objective of our study is to assess the groundwater storage chain and groundwater recharge with the application of GRACE and data set, and also we assess the influence of climate and then power factor on changes in groundwater storage in Cambodia. Let me move to the methodology part. I will briefly introduce the mission of the GRACE. It is the joint mission by NASA and German Aerospace Center, and the mission started in March 2002 and finished in October 2017. However, nowadays there is one mission. It's called GRACE follow-on that continue the mission from GRACE and start to detect a surface mass change. And the concept that GRACE detects the surface mass change is it has the two identical satellites orbiting around the Earth. The changes in distance between two satellites is measured and then converted to the gravitational field variation, and finally it's converted to terrestrial water storage anomaly in equivalent unit of height in centimeter. This anomaly product is mostly related to mean baseline from 2004 to 2009, and the baseline is computed using arithmetic mean. The available resolution of the data set is ranked from 0.5 degree to 1 degree and provide in a monthly basis. For the data set, it is also joint mission by NASA and other center. This system is integrated satellite-based and ground-based data set to generate optimum field of land surface state and flux, such as soil moisture, soil temperature, snow depth, and precipitation, etc. This system run a lot of land surface model, but NOS model is one among that model that have better correlation with GRACE total water storage anomaly data. The output of 𝐂𝐫𝐨𝐻, the resolution of 𝐂𝐫𝐴 data set rank between 1 degree to 0.25 degree with 3-hour and daily scale, and it's available from 1948 until the present. Moving on to the study area, here is the map of the study of Cambodia. It consists of 6 major river basins, and in Cambodia we have a large 𝐾𝐫𝐨𝐻 Lake, which is the largest freshwater lake in the Southeast Asia. And regarding the land cover, it is dominant by forest and agriculture. For the climatic condition, this area is dominant by tropical monsoon. It's divided into 2 seasons. From November to April, it is a dry season, and from May to October, it is wet season. And the average annual rainfall rank between 1,000 to 1,500 millimeter. And for regarding the hydrogeological condition of the study area is dominant by young alluvium and old alluvium. And moving on to the data collection, we use GRACE Mascon version 2 release 6 that is processed by JLPL, stand for Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and we use data set with a resolution 0.5 degree. And for data set, we use a NOAA land surface model version 2.1, which is the last test version of NOAA land surface model. We retrieve the soil moisture storage, precipitation, and evapotranspiration data from the data set. And the spatial and temporal resolution of the data set is 0.5 degree and in Monday respectively. For the land cover, we use the yearly land cover data with spatial resolution 30 meter by 6 meter from regional land cover monitoring system. And for the observed surface water level, we used one station located in the Tonle Sap area. It is recorded in daily basis, and the data is authorized by Mekong River Commission. And for the observed groundwater level, we use 24 monitoring well with Monday basis, and this data is provided by the U.S. State Department funded project or required data set. Moving on to the overall research framework, we have 3 objectives. That the objective 1, we try to derive the groundwater storage anomaly from terrestrial water storage anomaly, and for the objective, and then we detect the trend in groundwater storage. And for the second objective, we validate the groundwater storage anomaly from GRACE data. Again, the in situ groundwater storage anomaly from the monitoring well. And the last objective, we assess the contribution of precipitation minus evapotranspiration, which it represents the climate factor, and influence relative contribution of the changes in vegetation and agricultural cover, as we have as in the study area is dominant by forest and agriculture. Moving on to the detail of each method. For the objective one, we first we derive groundwater storage anomaly by just simply subtract the soil moisture component and surface water component from the terrestrial water component. And the surface water component we obtain from we obtain by using the area volume function, as we know the surface water level. With this area volume function as shown here, we can compute the extent of the surface area and volume of the surface surface water. And after that, we have to remove the baseline from surface water component and soil moisture component to be consistently compared with terrestrial water storage anomaly. To detect the trend of groundwater storage in Cambodia, we use the Mann-Kendall test to detect the trend and the significance of the trend, and we use Poisson estimator to detect the changes in the slope of change. And to estimate the monthly groundwater storage change, we use second central order difference and to estimate the net recharge, we just simply summing the positive value of monthly groundwater storage change. Moving to the methodology for the objective 2, we compute groundwater storage from water level in the monitoring well and storage coefficient. The storage coefficient is estimated based on the literature review, as we only know the material of the aquifer where the monitoring well is located, and then based on the literature review, we can estimate the storage coefficient. And then to be consistently compared with groundwater storage anomaly, we have to remove the baseline from inside to groundwater storage. In this case, because of the groundwater level is available only from 2006 to 2008. So here we remove the baseline with respect to 2006 to 2008, and also GRACE data, we have to remove it again using the same baseline period. And then we assess the performance of GRACE derived groundwater storage anomaly, again the in situ groundwater storage anomaly, by using indicator root mean square error and correlation coefficient. Moving on to the last objective, which is to assess the contribution of climate and land cover variable on changes in groundwater storage. Um, Regarding the climate factor, we estimate the contribution of precipitation minus evapotranspiration on the monthly groundwater storage chain. And for the land cover factor, we assess the contribution of changes in vegetation and land cover area on changes in groundwater storage. And this contribution is assessed using indicator coefficient of determination R square. Moving on to the result and discussion, this figure presents the mean monthly changes in groundwater storage over the period of 2003 to 2006, and we have seen that in November and December there is highest depletion in groundwater storage, and after that in July continue until June, it start increasing until September to October, which is the end of the rainy season. Moving on to the trend of groundwater storage, we detect the changes in groundwater storage over the entire country, and it is found that the slope of change is 0.06 centimeter per month, with the p-value is almost 0. So it's indicate that over the study period, groundwater storage in Cambodia has been depleted with a rate significantly depleted with a rate of 0.06 centimeter per month, which is approximately equal to 113 million cubic meter per month over the country. And moving into the detail into the basin scale, we can see that the all basin has a significant trend because of the p-value is less than 0.1. And however, we see that all basin, five basin from except basin 2, it has no significant changes in storage because p-value is more than 0.1, while the at basin 3 and 4, there is a highest depletion rate, which is more than 0.14 centimeter per month. So this basin 3 and 4 should be effective measure should be detected in should be taken in this basin. Because of grace that some study they have used only soil moisture component. Some study they use only soil moisture component to subtract from groundwater from terrestrial water storage component, because it has been found that the biggest one of the biggest basins, such as Millis Basin, the influence of surface water component is insignificant compared to soil moisture and groundwater component. But in this study area, we also consider the surface water component, and now we check whether the groundwater storage anomaly with and without surface water storage, it is how much surface water storage is influence on the groundwater storage signal. And then we can see that now we can see that if the groundwater storage anomaly is estimated without including the surface water, it is the decreasing rate is higher than with the surface water. This is for the basin scale. The decreasing rate is increased by 15%. And for the basin scale, because in this study, after we compute the surface water area and surface volume from the area volume function, we found that the average surface water area is not much different with the area of the Lesa Lake, which is located in Basin 1. So we include surface water in Basin 1 only. And now we find out that if this basin is not include the surface water of the lake, there will be more decreasing rate by 15%, 53%. Moving on to the trend, or the spatial trend, we can see that because p-value here is greater than 0.1, so it's indicate in insignificant trend. So only the remain area have a significant trend, and it is found that the area in the eastern region, most of the area in the eastern region, and the area near in the northwest part at the border has highest depletion rate, which is up to 2 millimeter per month. As we have found in the basin 2, the result of basin 2 is there is no significant changes. But if we look at the spatial trend, we see that area of the basin 2 have a significant have significant trend, but it exists in both increase and decreasing trend in this area, the region of basin 2. That's why when we do the spatial average, we get the insignificant trend. Moving on to the result of net groundwater recharge. This figure presents the average seasonal net groundwater recharge for each basin and for the entire country. And we have seen that the in rainy season, the net recharge contribute to all basin is similar, but for the dry season, basin basin 1 has received the highest net groundwater recharge. So so now let look into the average annual net recharge over the period of 2003 to 2006. We see that the basin 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 have similar amount of recharge, while only basin 1 that received the higher recharge. So this basin is the most potential basin in Cambodia that we that is feasible for the development in the future. And moving on to the net recharge, but this figure presents the main monthly net groundwater recharge for the 12 months. As we have seen in the the previous slide that Cambodia have a high amount of recharge, but if we check for the month mean monthly value, only July, August, and September that received the highest the high value of net recharge. So this is the important information to inform that like for the agriculture sector, if they plant the crop, they should consider they should know they should know even May, June, and October is in rainy season, but the higher concentration of the recharge is happen on these 3 months. So they should define their the date of sowing, the date of planting the crop. Here we try to find out why the basin 1 has this one this in dry season. We can see that basin 1 receive higher the recharge rather than in rainy season. That's why we try to see what's happened in this basin. And now we can see that all the basin, the all the basin except the basin 1 that the net recharge peak after the precipitation. So this means that in this basin the groundwater recharge, the aquifer is recharged by additional means rather than direct infiltration. And when we look into the correlation between monthly net recharge and precipitation for the basin 1, we can see that the maximum response was at like 3 months, which is the resulting in higher net recharge in dry season rather than in wet season. Moving on to the validation, this figure present the scatter plot between of monthly gradient again the in situ groundwater storage anomaly. The red dot line is present identity line, and the gray line is present the linear model lines. And we can see that there is a good alignment between a linear model with the identical line. And in terms of correlation, we found that there is a good match between the observed and the estimated base grace groundwater storage anomaly. However, in terms of root mean square error, we see the value is a bit high. This might be because of the uncertainty in approximated storage coefficient. Because I have mentioned, we estimated the storage coefficient based on the formation of the aquifer, and then try to take the value from the literature review to compute the storage coefficient. Moving on to the influence of climate variable, climate factor on groundwater storage chains. You can see that within each basin, the contribution rank between in terms of R square value, we can see here the contribution to groundwater storage value rank between 31% to 50%, and you can see this basin 1. It is they have no negative correlation with rain precipitation climate variable, because we have discussed this basin is not directly is not recharged by direct infiltration, so leading to the negative correlation between climate variable and changes in groundwater storage. Moving on to the spatial dependency of the groundwater of the climate variable on groundwater storage chain. You can see that most of the area near Tonle Sap Lake have high higher correlation, and the area at the eastern part have higher correlation, which is up to 0.7, while the area of while other area is ranked on average have contribute to about 0.3 of 0.3. Moving on to the influence of climate land cover factor on changes in groundwater storage, we can see that the R-square value is very small. It's only up to 0.1. It's only up to 0.1, which show that the changes in the vegetation has insignificant contribution to the changes in groundwater storage in Cambodia. Regarding the agricultural factor, similarly, there is no significant contribution of the changes in agricultural cover on the changes in groundwater storage. The contribution is only up to 6%. So moving on to the conclusion, the finding of this study, it is found that in groundwater storage in Cambodia has been decreased. Groundwater storage in Cambodia has been decreases by 0.6 centimeter per month over the period of April 2002 to April 2017 over the whole country, with the highest decreasing rate, which is greater than 0.14 centimeter per month, occur in basin 3 and 4. So effective intervention should be implemented to prevent further decreases of groundwater storage in this basin. Regarding the groundwater recharge, we have found that the Cambodia aquifer of Cambodia has received the average annual net groundwater recharge with a rate of 64 centimeter per year, and the highest amount has been contributed to Tonle Sap Lake Basin, which is Basin 1, which indicate that this basin is the more potential basin for the development in the future in the study area. Regarding the influence of climate and land cover factor on changes in groundwater storage, we have found that climate factor has contributed to up to 50% of changes in groundwater storage within the basin, while there is a limited influence of changes in land cover. We found the correlation coefficient of between in situ groundwater storage anomaly and grass-derived groundwater storage anomaly is very high, which is up to 0.82, which indicate the potential of grass data combined with a GLDAF dataset to detect groundwater storage in Cambodia. However, for the future study, we need denser network of observation well with a longer period of record for further validation, and also the information of hydrogeological condition of the aquifer of Cambodia, and also for the study of other impact of other factor like human intervention, like pumping the groundwater should be considered for better understanding, and for better understanding to effectively plan and manage the groundwater resource in Cambodia. Thank you.
Hi, thank you, Ms. Soknet, for a very comprehensive and exciting presentation. So I think it's time's a little bit limited, so we have room for one question or comment. Please, from the audience, if you have any questions or comments for Ms. Soknet, please unmute yourself and ask directly. Thank you. Anyone have a question for Ms. Soknet? Okay, so if not, so I may take the permission to ask one very quick question. Can you scroll down the slide? Let me, please keep scrolling down, scrolling, please continue. Yes, slide number 20. Okay, so this is a very interesting map. So I understand that there are a lot of results over here, and I admittedly that I have lost some of the explanation. So I have a small question. So can you explain the reason behind this spatial distribution of these two maps? What are the landscape aspects or the rainfall distribution that lead to this distribution? Thank you.
Thank you for your question, Dr. Locke. As we have checked the contribution of climate variable on the changes in groundwater storage. We have like because we have seen that only up to 50% of the changes, only up to 50% from climate that influence the changes in groundwater storage. So we have the remaining factor that we cannot explain. And for this area, there is actually I cannot explain how what's happening here, what has caused this change, because we haven't take the we haven't taken all the factor, we haven't considered all the factor that influence on this study area. But from my point of view, I think this can be happen because of the pumping effect. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Soknet. So I think I also tend to agree with you that that has something to do with the pumping rates from the farmers in that particular area. So that can be something that you can incorporate in your recommendations. Okay, so thank you, Ms. Soknet. Before we wrap up, so Ms. Soknet, can you please unshare? I have a small announcement to make. Okay, so before we wrap up today's seminar, let me quickly share my screen. Okay. Okay, so our next seminar will be held exactly 14 days from now. It will be in September the 1st, 2021, and the next presenters will be Mr. Sanjeev Nupan and Ms. 𝐾𝐫𝐨𝐻, non-TCANSAT. So may I invite these two presenters, please prepare your flyers and topic accordingly, following the template that we have communicated. Okay, so with that, I will stop share. Just a small comment before we officially wrap up is that in addition to the contents that's sharing with your slides, please be very mindful about the time management. And this will be a very good practice for you when you present in international conference or you present for your PhD candidate when you are given allocated amount of time. So regardless of your contents, you try to manage it in in a very strategic time manner. So that would be my message for today. So thank you, everyone. With that, I would like to wrap up today's seminar series, and I wish you a pleasant week ahead. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.